Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because what you're about to hear will make every hip-hop beef you've ever seen look like playground gossip. Imagine waking up to a leaked audio. And not just any audio, an underground recording where Remy Ma, yes, the Bronx legend herself, is allegedly plotting to take down Claressa Shields, the undefeated boxing queen, once and for all. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what the streets and the leaked files are whispering tonight. For years, Ray's been painted as a comeback icon, a boss, a queen who turned pain into power. But this might just flip her whole legacy upside down. According to these anonymous insiders, the so-called Bronx bully wasn't satisfied with lyrics or mic battles anymore. Oh no, she wanted a real knockout. One that could destroy Claressa's entire career before her next title defense even began. Was this jealousy, revenge, or something much darker, like a hidden power play to dominate every headline in both hip-hop and sports? Whatever it is, it's dirty, it's dangerous, and it's dripping with betrayal. So, grab your popcorn because this isn't just another feud. It's a full-blown war between a rap icon and a boxing legend. And the leaked tape just blew the lid off everything. Let's start from the beginning. Before the leaks, before the chaos, back when everything between Remy Ma and Claressa Shields looked like mutual respect, back when they were smiling in the same interviews, hyping each other up like sisters in power. But behind the smiles, something toxic was quietly brewing. And the truth, it didn't start with boxing. It started with ego. See, Remy Ma's been fighting her way through the industry for years. Battling her label, battling time, battling every woman who tried to outshine her. But then came Claressa Shields, young, loud, unapologetic, and undefeated. A black woman from Flint, Michigan, stepping into arenas and walking out like she owned the damn world. And for Remy, that confidence looked a little too familiar. It reminded her of someone herself. Only this time, the crowd was cheering louder for the boxer than for the rapper. According to people close to both camps, that's where it started, the silent competition. One anonymous source even claimed Remy couldn't stand how Claressa's name was trending every week, while hers barely made gossip blogs. She kept saying, "These new girls don't pay homage anymore." At first, it was just side comments, subtle shade in interviews, a tweet here, a cryptic post there. But then things got intentional. Behind the scenes, insiders say Remy was working on a new documentary project called Queens Don't Flinch. It was supposed to celebrate women in power, but leaked production notes revealed something much darker. Claressa's name appeared multiple times under a section labeled Control Narrative. Now, why would a docuseries about women's empowerment need to control someone's narrative? The answer might shock you. The leaks suggest that Ray's team was allegedly digging for old training footage, out-of-context interviews, and even private messages. Anything that could twist Claressa's image from the GW to the villain. And that's not all. A producer who claims to have been fired from Ray's team spilled a few details anonymously online. He said, and I quote, "Remy wanted to frame Claressa as unstable. She kept saying no one stays undefeated forever. Let's help her fall faster." Imagine hearing that from someone you once called a mentor. Claressa, at the time, had no idea. She was focused on training, preparing for a huge fight, posting motivational videos, and talking about representing women of color in sports. She had no clue that across the industry, a quiet campaign was brewing to undercut her eyes. Then came the studio session. The night the leaked audio was recorded. The now viral clip allegedly captured during a late-night conversation between Remy and two close associates is the smoking gun. You can hear a voice sounding unmistakably like Ray's saying she thinks she's untouchable. Let's see how strong she looks when people turn on her. Everyone's got a weak spot, even a champ. Whether it's real or fabricated, the damage is already done. The internet went nuclear. Twitter spaces lit up. Hashtags like hashtag Remy vs. Claressa and hashtag boxing betrayal started trending within hours. Fans began picking sides. Half screaming, Ray's jealous. And the other half shouting, fake news. They're setting her up. But the timeline doesn't lie. Days before the leak, Remy unfollowed Claressa on Instagram. Days after the leak, a cryptic story popped up on Remy's burner account. Never let a rookie think she can run your ring. Coincidence? Maybe. But if there's one thing the hip-hop world loves more than a comeback, it's a collapse. And Claressa, she wasn't staying quiet. Within 24 hours of the leak, she posted a now-deleted tweet. "I don't do sneak diseases. I fight for real. No emojis, no tags, just smoke." From that moment, every blog, every fan page, every boxing podcast turned the rivalry into an obsession. TMZ ran with it. Shade Room reposted. Even Joe Budden slipped it into his podcast with that infamous line, "Remy, don't play fair when she's threatened." And suddenly, this wasn't just a story about two powerful women. It became a symbol, a battle between old-school dominance and new-era authenticity. One built on respect, the other on raw confidence. Behind closed doors, insiders claimed major sponsors began panicking. A luxury athletic brand, Claressa, was negotiating with allegedly paused discussions after the leak. The PR team scrambled to contain the narrative. Meanwhile, Ray's silence only fueled suspicion. Not a denial, not even a cryptic denial, just a storm of silence. Now fans are asking, if it's not true, why not just say it's fake? Why stay quiet while your name burns across every platform? Because sometimes silence isn't innocence, it's strategy. And word on the street says Ray's not done playing yet. According to a news source claiming to be a former assistant, this was just phase 1. The next step, they said, involved a planned exclusive interview meant to bury Claressa's credibility. But before that could happen, the leak went public. Someone from inside her circle flipped. They wanted the world to see how far Remy was willing to go to protect her power. And the truth is, they succeeded because now every headline, every tweet, every voice memo is echoing one chilling question. If this is what Remy Ma is capable of behind the mic, what else has she done that we don't know about yet? And that's where things take an even darker turn because the next revelation isn't about fame or music or boxing. It's about control. And once you hear what Remy tried to buy her way into, you'll realize this feud was never personal. It was business. And that business, it's about to explode. If you thought the leaked audio was the peak of this scandal, think again. Because what followed next turned whispers into wildfire and exposed a web of controls so twisted even Claressa's toughest punches galled knock it down. Hours after the clip went viral, hip-hop forums started dropping screenshots, DMs, payment logs, and even email threads allegedly linked to Ray's PR team. And guess what? Showed a coordinated effort to plant stories discrediting Claressa across sports blogs, boxing subreddits, and influencer pages. One post literally read, "Target key pages that post her highlights. Make her look arrogant. Use the word ungrateful." Yep, someone actually wrote that. And within 2 days, posts started popping up with eerily similar captions. Claressa is acting bigger than the sport. She forgot her roots. Money changed her. Coincidence? Please. The timing was too surgical. But then something even crazier dropped. A sports journalist known for never backing down, let's call him Marcus L., leaked a voice note from an anonymous female source who worked under Remy's label. Her voice, trembling but defiant, said they paid influencers to go after Claressa. It wasn't random hate. It was planned. I've seen the receipts. Receipts. That one word broke the internet. Because in this era, screenshots are stronger than subpoenas. Within hours, fake and real receipts flooded X, Instagram, and YouTube. People were dissecting timestamps, voice tones, and old interviews like detectives in a pop culture crime scene. And then boom, a second leak hit. This one was an audio. It was a private group chat labeled Team Queens Don't Flinch. Inside were messages from burner accounts linked to verified industry figures. One read, "If Claressa keeps talking, drop the gym story. She won't recover." The gym story. Nobody knew what that meant until the next morning. A small but shady blog published an article claiming Claressa once got into a physical altercation with another fighter at a training facility. No evidence. No witnesses, just words and a blurry picture from 2018. Remy stayed silent, but fans noticed something. The same article got reposted on multiple gossip pages within hours, each with identical wording. That's not organic. That's orchestration. Meanwhile, Claressa finally went live. And oh boy, she was done being polite. Wearing no makeup, sitting in her car. She looked dead into the camera and said, "Y'all can't break me. You can try, but I've been fighting all my life. Literally, whoever's behind this, keep talking. I got hands and I got truth." That clip hit 5 million views in 6 hours. Celebrities started chiming in. Nicki Minaj, 50 Cent. Even Fat Joe posted cryptic reactions. Some stood with Claressa. Others stayed suspiciously quiet, but the loudest silence came from Remy herself. Then, as if the drama gods wanted to keep the chaos alive, a new player entered the game, a mysterious account named Truth from the Inside. It started posting long threads detailing how Remy allegedly tried to buy out Claressa's sponsorship deal through a third-party PR firm. Each post ended with the same eerie phrase, "The fight isn't in the ring anymore." Within a week, Ray's team released a short, heavily edited video denying everything. It featured Remy sitting in a luxury office, sipping tea, smirking into the camera as she said, "People love to make noise when their shine starts fading. I'm focused on my projects, not petty lies." But fans noticed something odd. The timestamps on her background clock didn't match the video's supposed recording date. People started calling it the time warp denial. Memes exploded. Someone even edited Claressa's voice over the video, yelling, "Keep that same energy in the ring." Behind the memes, though, the situation was escalating. Sponsors began pulling out. Remy's event, originally set to premiere her documentary Queens Don't Flinch, was suddenly postponed indefinitely. Rumor had it one of her key investors bailed after internal emails surfaced showing discussions about neutralizing S.H.I.E.L.D.'s influence. Neutralizing. That word hit hard because now it wasn't just gossip. It sounded like sabotage. By this point, journalists started comparing Ray's behavior to old-school industry tactics, the kind used to destroy careers quietly without ever throwing a single punch. A few insiders whispered that this wasn't the first time Remy tried to undermine another woman's rise. They mentioned previous feuds conveniently buried under creative differences. And in the middle of it all, Claressa's camp released their own bombshell. Screenshots showing fake gym stories traced back to accounts tied to Ray's digital marketing team. Suddenly, the narrative flipped again. Remy wasn't the victim anymore. She was the architect. As pressure mounted, Ray's lawyer issued a short statement. Ms. Mackey has no connection to any alleged leaks or defamatory campaigns. The claims are false, malicious, and legally actionable. But even that statement felt weak because hours later, a whistleblower uploaded an unlisted video to YouTube titled How Remy Controlled the Narrative. The video was a full-blown timeline with voice memos, alleged invoices, and what appeared to be internal meeting notes. One document even listed a strategy. Leverage rivalries. Control story. Make her look emotional. That video reached 1 million views before it was mysteriously taken down. But the damaged permanent Twitter threads turned into investigations. News anchors used words like defamation, digital warfare, and career manipulation. By the end of that week, both women were under the microscope. Remy for her alleged role in the leaks and Claressa for how she handled the fallout. Still, through all of it, one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't just a feud. It was a chess game. And every move Remy made seemed planned months in advance. Behind the glitz, behind the studio lights, behind that confident Bronx attitude, something darker was ticking. Because the final leak, one that hasn't even gone public yet, might be the one that ends it all. They say the audio you've heard so far was just the rehearsal, the real tape. The one insiders claim features names, payoffs, and strategy meetings. That's the bomb waiting to drop. And when it does, this won't just destroy reputations. It could spark legal investigations, pull down brand deals, and rewrite the legacy of two of the most powerful women in entertainment. Because, as one insider put it best, when Remy fights, she doesn't swing for the face. She goes straight for your future. And that future, it's about to hit back harder than anyone expects. Now, buckle in because the next chapter isn't about leaks, it's about revenge. By the time the third leak surfaced, the industry wasn't just watching, it was shaking. Reporters camped outside Remy Ma's studio. Drones hovered over her mansion, and paparazzi followed Claressa's shields like she was the president under threat. Everyone wanted to know who leaked the final tape and why. Now, it started on a Sunday night, 2:37 a.m., to be exact, when an anonymous Reddit account dropped a 3-minute clip titled The Real Meeting. Within minutes, the internet detonated. The voices in that recording, one sounded like Remy. Another belonged to someone described as a major boxing promoter. And the conversation, it was surgical, cold, chilling. She's too big now. You either control her or you crush her. So, what's the play? Get the blogs ready. Make her look emotional. Impossible to work with. Sponsors hate chaos. And then the voice alleged to be Remy says the words that made Twitter collapse. If she keeps running her mouth, I'll make sure she never steps in another ring again. That one line turned a celebrity feud into a possible criminal probe. Because now it wasn't just about defamation. It sounded like an intent to destroy a livelihood. Lawyers call that malicious interference. And the FBI calls it a reason to start asking questions. Within hours, multiple outlets reported that investigators were reviewing the authenticity of the clip. TMZ claimed the file's metadata showed edits in a Bronx recording studio linked to Ray's old production team. Others claimed Claressa's attorney had already submitted the clip as potential evidence in a pending defamation suit. Meanwhile, the public reactions are split down the middle. Some defended Remy, calling it a fake setup by industry rivals. Others turned vicious. Her social media was flooded with comments like, "The Bronx bully finally got caught," and "How you going to preach sisterhood while plotting sabotage?" And Claressa, she finally broke her silence in a televised interview that aired the next day. Sitting across from a calm but sharp interviewer, she said, "I didn't ask for this. I looked up to her, but if someone tries to ruin my career, I'm fighting back with the truth." That moment shifted everything. It wasn't anger. It was heartbreak. You could see it in her eyes. The betrayal hit harder than any punch. Behind the scenes, sources claimed the boxing world started closing ranks. Major networks like Showtime and Dunn allegedly reviewed their partnerships, worried about reputation risk. A leaked internal memo from one sponsor even read, "We can't have brand alignment with ongoing manipulation scandals." Remy's empire began to crack. Her podcast sponsors paused their ads. The Queen's Don't Flinch documentary got dropped from 2 streaming platforms. And even her publicist resigned. A former team member posted cryptically on X, "Karma came faster than the contract ended." Still, Remy didn't back down. She hired a crisis PR firm known for cleaning celebrity scandals and released a new video titled "The Truth They Don't Want You to Hear." In it, she claimed the leaks were spliced audio and deepfake propaganda designed to pit two successful black women against each other. But the internet didn't buy it. The audio engineer community went wild analyzing the waveform of the leaked tape. Multiple experts said the background reverb matched a studio Remy publicly filmed earlier that month. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. A woman named Lydia Torres, a former assistant producer on Queen's Flame Forward on Instagram. Her face was trembling, her voice cracking. She said, "They told me to leak fake stories about Claressa. I can't live with it anymore. Remy ordered everything. I saw the emails." The live ended in 12 minutes, but it didn't matter. The damage was irreversible. Screenshots of her confession were everywhere. People started calling her the whistleblower of the hip-hop world. By this point, Claressa had turned the tables. She announced a new documentary titled Fighting Words, The Claressa Shield Story, promising to expose everything the industry tried to bury. Production began immediately, and within days, she was trending worldwide, not as a victim, but as a warrior reclaiming her story. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that Remy's label partners were quietly distancing themselves. One anonymous exec told Rolling Trend magazine she became the story instead of the storyteller. That's when you lose everything. The fallout didn't stop there. A YouTube channel leaked alleged screenshots of payment transfers from an account tied to Remy's business manager, amounts labeled promo push and social coordination. One-line memo simply read, "Project Shields." And that's when fans realized this wasn't just a feud. This was a campaign. Claressa's lawyer issued a public statement confirming that multiple defamation and interference claims were being prepared. Legal experts began speculating about potential six-figure damages, while others said it could become a landmark case for online defamation in the entertainment industry. But what really sealed the scandal's legacy was what happened at the BET Awards 2 weeks later. Claressa walked the red carpet in a black satin gown, elegant, calm, smiling. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. One yelled out, "Any message for Remy Ma?" Claressa paused, looked dead into the lens, and said, "Only one. Keep my name out your ring." Mic drop. The crowd erupted. Remy didn't attend the event. Her seat was empty. Her team ghosted the press and her public image. Once a symbol of toughness and redemption, was in freefall. Now insiders claim she's planning a tell-all of her own, supposedly titled Silenced by Lies. But honestly, can anything she says undo the chaos she created? The receipts, the voice notes, the betrayals, they're burned into the internet forever. As of now, Claressa's brand is thriving again. She landed a new sponsorship deal with Nike and got invited to speak at a women's empowerment summit. Meanwhile, Remy's social media comments are limited, her interviews canceled, and her reputation hanging by a thread. And maybe that's the moral of this madness. When you play dirty in a digital world, the cleanup never ends. The truth always leaks. Because at the end of the day, no one can outbox karma. And Remy, she's finding out the hard way that the internet never forgets. So, here's the question for all of you watching right now. Was this just jealousy gone wrong, or did Remy Marley orchestrate one of the dirtiest takedowns in modern entertainment history? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you believe the truth is louder than the lies. And don't forget to subscribe because this story isn't ending, it's just beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, this story was supposed to end when the final leak dropped, but something tells me we're only scratching the surface because the whispers haven't stopped. The insiders are still talking and new files. Yeah, they're already circulating in the shadows. The question is, who's brave enough to release them next? We watched a friendship collapse, a career tremble, and a legend fall under the weight of her own ambition. Remy Ma, the queen of comebacks, might have just written her own downfall. One leak, one lie, one controlled narrative at a time. And Claressa's Shields, the undefeated champion, proved that sometimes the hardest fight isn't in the ring, it's in the headlines. But what if none of this was an accident? What if the anonymous sources, the leaked audios, and the insider posts were part of a bigger game? A setup within a setup. Some say a rival label planned the entire chaos to bury both women. Others claim a digital ops firm was hired to manufacture the feud for attention. So, who's playing who? The real question is, when the smoke clears, will Remy rise again or fade into the same silence she once used to control others? Because one thing's certain, in this industry, reputation isn't earned, it's traded. And once it's gone, no PR statement can buy it back. So, what do you think? Was this a tragic misunderstanding or the coldest sabotage hip-hop's ever seen? Comment your theories below. Hit that like button if you're riding with the truth and subscribe because on this channel, we don't just report the drama, we expose it. This is Gossip Spill Vibe, where rumors become revelations and every secret eventually spills. And remember, this story isn't ending. It's just beginning.